Denis Sassou Nguesso. A name that, for many Congolese, means power. A face that has been around for decades, leaving his mark on the country's political history. At 82, he is one of the oldest serving heads of state in the world. A long time in power that needs to be looked at closely, beyond just the numbers. Every line on his face seems to tell a part of the troubled and complex history of Congo Brazzaville. His rule, altogether, has been over 40 years. A time marked by changes in government, conflicts, times of peace, and almost constant control over the country's levers of power. He has seen generations come and go, global crises and big changes on the African continent, all while staying at the top. And now, everyone is looking to the future. Once again, he is getting ready for the presidential election in March 2026. The announcement didn't surprise anyone, but it made official what many expected: his quest for another term. The political machine started moving in a planned way. His party, the Congolese Labour Party, PCT, officially nominated him at its December Congress. A well-oiled political ritual, a show of strength and loyalty within the party where delegates all chose their champion. Then, on February 5th, the confirmation came from his own mouth. In a statement that ended all guessing, he said it himself: "I will submit my candidacy." A simple sentence, but with big consequences for the country's future. If he wins this election, it would be his 5th term in a row since he came back to power in 1997. A 5th act in a political play where he is the writer, director, and main actor. This long time in power is based on a strange economic situation. The country has oil, forests, minerals, lots of natural resources that should, in theory, pay for amazing development. There is money, enough on paper to start a real change, to build lasting infrastructure, to pay for a good health and education system, to create jobs for many young people who are waiting. However, the daily lives of most Congolese tell a different story. A story of unfinished projects, weak public services, and economic growth that never seems to really reach the people. The wealth from underground doesn't seem to turn into well-being for most people. Critics, like opposition member Clément Mirassa, say that the system is made to reward the appearance of progress, not actual results. For them, the current president's candidacy itself is against the law because it goes against the spirit of the Constitution, even with the changes. We see big opening ceremonies and work sped up as deadlines get close, but follow-up and maintenance are often missing. Even new buildings and roads quickly fall apart because there's no planned and funded upkeep. These critical voices blame a lack of long-term vision, a government that focuses on short-term things and events. They also point out a culture where people get away with things, where those responsible for mismanaging public money or failed projects are rarely held accountable. Other voices from the opposition and civil society, like Guy Mafimba, add a sharper point. While not ruling out some form of discussion, he insists on one non-negotiable point: the need to punish all financial crimes, past and present, as a necessary step for any new beginning. Beyond economic discussions, these opponents talk about a climate of fear, an atmosphere where openly criticizing the government can have serious consequences, where self-censorship becomes a way to survive for journalists, activists, and even ordinary citizens. Given this situation, their demand is clear: a free, fair, just, and believable election. Because legitimacy, they remind us, is not declared from a presidential palace. It is built in the voting booth, through the trust of voters who can choose without being scared or forced. Some observers point to signs they see as darker as the election gets closer: targeted pre-election repression, a shrinking space for public discussion, where protests are banned and dissenting voices are pushed aside. The chilling case of opposition figure Lassi Yambwidi, found in critical condition after being kidnapped and attacked in 2025, is often mentioned as an example of the brutality that can strike those who cause trouble. A warning to everyone else. These events are not just abstract headlines in newspapers. They shape how citizens feel when they go to vote. They feed distrust, apathy, or the decision for some to simply not take part in a game they believe is rigged. Faced with all these criticisms, what is the government's counter-argument? It is mainly legal. The Constitution was changed by a vote in 2015. This change removed the age limit of 70 for candidates and changed the term limits, starting fresh. So, legally, Denis Sassou Nguesso can run. His supporters, many of whom are in the PCT and the government, keep saying one word: continuity. For them, it is the only guarantee of stability in a region that is often unstable. Changing leaders, they say, would be a leap into the unknown, a risk of chaos. To support this argument, they will point to the security operations that brought peace back to the streets after past troubles. They will highlight agricultural fairs, presented as the promise of economic diversification to move away from relying on oil. They will show the roads and bridges built to connect the country and its people. But stability without economic opportunity for young people is like a lid on a boiling pot. The pressure builds silently. The apparent calm can hide deep frustrations looking for a way out. And projects without financial responsibility become monuments to waste, empty shells that constantly remind people of broken promises and public money that has disappeared. So, what is fundamentally missing in this complex situation? Clearly, strong institutions that can outlast the people who lead them. Real checks and balances, not just false fronts. What's missing are public procurement rules that punish project failures and corruption, and not citizens who dare to complain. Independent audits whose findings are actually acted upon. What's missing are local governments with real power and their own budgets, able to plan their development and be checked by the people they serve, so that decisions are made as close as possible to what's needed. What's missing are truly independent media, able to question those in power, investigate sensitive topics, and be safe doing so without fearing legal or physical retaliation. And most importantly, what's missing is a justice system that closes the huge gap between the law as it's written on paper and life as it's lived on the ground. Justice that applies the same way to everyone, from the ordinary citizen to the highest official in the state. Because let's be honest, stated ambition isn't enough. Oil money alone isn't enough. Speeches and promises are no longer enough. If the rules of the game don't apply equally to leaders and citizens, then the results of development will never reach the governed. Brazzaville may seem calm today on the eve of this new political deadline. But calm is not always the same as agreement. This calm might come from fear. It might be a sign of deep political tiredness, a feeling that nothing can change. Or perhaps it's a silent hope. A hope that is waiting, not for more words, but for real proof of change before it shows itself. The 2026 election will provide part of the answer,